Alright, welcome to FusionPit Presents. I'm Alec, and this week I'm going to be delving into the world of lo-fi, DIY, punk, and hardcore. So without further ado, a brief history of Xerox Records.
Sally was a good girl.
Released June 12, 2014 by hardcore band Icko Sicko, the self-titled EP starts off with a very tame instrumental titled Slided, before exploding into an almost endless thrash fest that features these very high-strung instrumentals and a vocal delivery that kind of sounds like it's being done by a madman. And although a lot of these songs are very short, to the point, and quick-paced, there are a lot of moments that did stand out to me. And just for example, songs like Sally Vengeance, which featured this very back and forth styled progression where it started off with this eerily calm spoken word on top of a very skeletal drum beat before erupting into these chaotic instrumental with these very madmen like vocals on top. Whereas Rat Race had probably my favorite groove toward the back end of the song on this entire album, aside from the very beginning of Child of Rage. Now, as far as my favorite songs go, they would have to be Burnt Out and Sally Vengeance. The self-titled album was released by Love Reagan on November 11, 2014. And Love Reagan showcased their unique blend of classic rock-flavored punk with a lot of melodies and riffs that ring out with the elements of old-school rock and roll and surf rock. And the vocals feature much more of an edge to them with a fiery, more energetic delivery. However, they're able to keep a lot of melody, which allows for some cleaner delivery, even if only slightly cleaner. Some of the highlights on this album feature songs like They Come Running, which has probably my favorite melody on here. It's very haunting and eerie, but still feels very urgent. Or songs like Fuzzhead, which you can hear a very large surf rock element coming from the guitar passages and the rhythms of the song. Whereas Boys Will Be Boys features a much more upbeat, almost uplifting rhythm. My favorite songs on this album have to be those three songs: Boys Will Be Boys, Fuzzhead, and They Come Running. Outside Looking In released Living or Existing on April 7th, 2014, and this hardcore punk outfit unleashed their raw fury in the form of aggressive, abrasive instrumentation along with very visceral, eccentric vocals. Now, this album doesn't quite feel like it has 9 separate parts to it. It feels much more like one whole song with how quick and short these songs are, especially with the way they kind of segue into each other almost seamlessly. The only song that doesn't feel this way is Another Disheartening Night, which is nowhere near as quick-paced and nowhere near as short, with it being the longest song on the track listing, which leads it to feel much more fleshed out, and it has much more of a build toward the beginning, as it didn't feel like it was segued into from the last track. However, there are some other songs that did stand out to me, however, only due to the raw brutality. Songs like Can't Talk, Can't Hide, the title track Living or Existing, and Old Man. And these songs have to be my favorite, other than Another Disheartening Night.
Sarah?
She won't answer you. Or she can't.
Why not?
This is the way it's been since she started smoking pot.
Gyro Spazzers released their self-titled demo on July 14th, 2013, and between the very upbeat songs, the reverb-soaked guitars, and the surf rock elements that you can find throughout this entire 4-track demo, It feels much more like a soundtrack to someone's beach party, which is what I like the most about this project, because it may not be as intense as some of the other releases from Xerox, but this one seems like it's all about having a good time, especially with all these good feeling vibes that I'm getting from each song. Now, the guitar distortion is a little brittle, however, I feel like the edge on the vocals definitely makes up for that with its eccentric delivery, offering much more raw energy. My favorite songs off this demo have to be Kamikaze, as it features some of my favorite rhythms, but also feels kind of like a teaser track with the way it builds. And builds kind of like you have a shell, and you know there's something inside, and it's kind of coming out, and it's coming out. And right as it's about to peak, it kind of recedes back into the shell, leaving you wanting more, and you're kind of anticipating what's about to happen next. My other favorite song has to be Sneakers, solely for the fact that the satirical anti-pot commercial sampling at the beginning of the song with the rolling bass drum right underneath of it. Oil was released January 1st, 2011 by hardcore punk band Scared to Death. This EP offers absolutely nothing in the ways of subtlety, and it has absolutely no breathing room between its very chaotic, distorted guitars, the harsh timbre of the drums, and the very rough, shouted vocals. And it's absolutely relentless in the form of this very heavy style of punk music. And as much as I love the raw aggression that Scared to Death is pushing out on this demo, I would have to say that's kind of where my issue lies as well, as I wasn't really able to pull much else out of this demo other than aggression, and it kind of blurred by me the first few listens with its very short-length songs and very quick-paced tempo. However, I was able to pull out a few songs that I would recommend. They're my favorite songs off of this demo. They would be Burnt Out, Oh God, and Overwhelmed. This has been FusionPit Presents. I'm Alec. I want to give a shout out to Miles, Tommy, Xerox Records, Icko Sicko, Love Reagan, Outside Looking In, Gyrospazzers, and Scared to Death. You guys are awesome. Stay punk.